Hey guys, and welcome back to Hot Tea, where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. In today's video, we are going to be looking into Dave Portnoy's history and how this is super troubling. Before we continue, I'm going to throw up a disclaimer right here, as the majority of this video does contain talk of R and SA, and this may be disturbing or triggering to some viewers. But before we dive into it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell as I post new videos every single day. Also, head over to the Hot Tea Twitter account where you can follow us and send us any topics that you would like us to cover, whether it's current drama or deep dive topics. Alright, let's pull this apart. Dave Portnoy is the co-founder of sports and pop culture blog Barstool Sports, which you have likely at least heard of, if not by accident, on Instagram, as they often share popular videos and tie it in with sports news. Barstool Sports really just tends to share other people's content on social media with a similar vibe to what Fuck Jerry has done, but with a much more men's locker room / frat house type of vibe. Portnoy got a degree in education back in 1995 before working for Yankee Group for about 4 years prior to setting off and starting what would become Barstool Sports. There was some stock and share buying with bigger companies, but basically Dave Portnoy has creative control over Barstool Sports, and he is estimated to have a net worth of about $100 million. Portnoy's online persona and what he's most known for is this very unapologetic and brash bro culture that he has developed, and it is no secret that has been tied to misogynistic comments and opinions towards women. Like most of these bro culture type characters, he likely has either no idea of this or just doesn't care. Portnoy reckons that people just hate him because he interviewed Trump and went on Tucker Carlson's show, which might be true, who am I to say? But I can say there is probably a big population that dislikes him for a different reason. I'm going to start back when Dave's name started popping up more for most of us, not in the sports community, and I bet that's back in November 2021 when an article was released by Business Insider. Yes, we are going to be talking about that first. An article by Julia Black headed, "I was literally screaming in pain. Young women say they met Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy for sex, and it turned violent and humiliating." The article even got attention from Drama Alert, who posted a video about it, which I'm sorry, I won't lie, I couldn't make it through more than like 4 minutes. Anyway, in this article, Julia talks to a girl who decided to remain anonymous, like most of the women that speak about Portnoy, but is referred in the article as Madison. Madison tells the story of how she first started talking to Dave by DMing him, and then eventually they decided to meet up, with Madison flying out to him. She paints a really aggressive picture of Dave sexually in her description of the time that they spent together, including saying that while they were hooking up, she was screaming and saying it was too much, to which Dave ignored and just, quote, went harder. Pretty gross, and just a note again, this is alleged, okay? Madison also mentions that Portnoy filmed her without permission prior, and it's known that 3 sex tapes of Portnoy have leaked online. Other women have spoken out, including one who says that she was even after her sexual encounter with Portnoy. Dave calls the Insider article a, quote, hit piece, and released a response video detailing his time with the aforementioned Madison, as well as this second individual who considered unaliving herself after being with him. He said that he had no idea that she felt that way, and it was certainly not shown on the outside. He provides screenshots of messages back and forth to this individual who he claims is the one that pursued him. Portnoy says that he will never be able to prove his side with the Madison situation, but says that he can at least show something in regards to the second girl, but he, quote, swears on his life that everything and anything sexual was 100% consensual. He says that the reporter Julia Black had made up her mind on this article about him before even beginning any research or writing. Portnoy says that Black had been digging for 8 months trying to get the story to fit her narrative, and that she had an agenda from the jump. Now, I'm going to let that part just sit with you for a second, and we can circle back shortly, but I would like to go back a little further into Dave Portnoy. In 2017, there was a bit of controversy around Barstool Sports, and of course, Dave, when fellow sports personality Alika Sadeghi shared a contract on Twitter that Barstool Sports has their employees sign that basically lets them know that they might be offended by the brand of comedy that they produce. Alika said that she she decided to not only sign it, but to also not work with Barstool and claimed it was hate speech. Portnoy clapped back and said that Angelika was just trying to insert herself into the Hollywood drama and even called her, quote, the biggest fraud. Ultimately, he was glad that she never ended up staying with the company, as she would have been, quote, a nightmare to work with. He continued and said, "Fuck you for making us part of this story. We have nothing to do with this. We are not Harvey Weinstein." A female staff member, or rather CEO of Barstool, Erica Nardini, went on her Twitter rant and said that they have a zero-tolerance harassment policy. 7 years prior to all of that, in 2010, Portnoy dropped a very offensive supposed joke.
Some critics also say that blackout parties promote an atmosphere that puts women at risk. You posted the following on your site. I never condone, but if you're a size 6 and you're wearing skinny jeans, you kind of deserve to be.
Correct. I stand by that. I think it's a funny joke.
You think is funny?
No, I didn't say that. I think it's a funny joke.
Do you understand how offensive that is?
No, I obviously don't.
Did he really? Like, what? What the fuck is wrong with you? If that wasn't bad enough, he was apparently making the joke in regards to the skinny jeans defense. Now, this is just... Okay, let me just explain what this is. In 2010, there was a man that was acquitted for a R case in Australia because the woman was wearing tight, skinny jeans. And the defense lawyer said that it would have been difficult to take those off unless the person was consenting. This is a similar mindset to that time Keemstar said that if you are being SA'd orally, just turn away. That's not how consent works. Like, come on, seriously? So regardless of it being a supposed joke or not, that's super gross, and that video is super gross, but it is painting this picture for you of the character of Dave Portnoy. I am by no means accusing him of being an R-word or an SA'er or anything of that sort. I am literally just presenting to you things that were said and done. Portnoy told Tucker Carlson, however, that when he said this, he thought that a size 6 was actually a size 20 and that he got his measurements wrong, because that's so much better somehow. It goes without saying that Portnoy has offensive and controversial opinions, and a lot of people like him for that. He got the nickname El President and certainly doesn't shy away from that at all. Dave's podcast BFFs talked about Sienna May and also had her on as a guest, calling her an unproblematic queen. The podcast reacted to Sienna May's dance video Comeback, and some even say that Dave made light of the whole situation between Sienna and Jack, just giving another example of how hurtful that is to victims. A side note as well that these episodes were posted before Jack Wright posted his video on the subject. Now, I was sent an email by someone that would like to remain anonymous, and that they detail a brief experience they had with Portnoy, as well that further paints the picture of someone who may not fully understand consent. They said, "Your video about BFF and Dave Portnoy brought me back to 10 years ago when Dave Portnoy got involved by choice in a dialogue on my college campus over the phrase 'she wants the D'. His sentiments over not trusting the victim has not changed in 10 years. If you wear this, you wanted it. If you say something, you wanted it. If you don't explicitly scream and run away, you've consented. Dangerous, dangerous thinking. He is a terrible person. He emboldened the exact people on our campus that were prone to this dangerous line of thinking, and pushed men to be bolder with their anonymous comments on campus, causing me to have panic attacks. Anyway, Barstool Sports wasn't as big back then, but he is a dangerous man." I would like to think that this goes without saying, but it seems that it may not. But just because you are dating someone or in a relationship with someone, that does not mean that you can't be SA'd by them. If you are with someone that puts you through this or makes excuses or belittles you, please understand that it's not your fault, and please reach out to someone. These mindsets that people like Dave Portnoy have are dangerous and toxic, and it concerns me personally that his audience of what seems to be primarily young men look up to him in such a way. Even back in the day when Barstool Sports was throwing their blackout parties for college kids, Dave was 35. It just feels so inappropriate to be giving these kids these ideas. Portnoy is now 44 years old, and while some may consider him to be really successful, I personally do not find him entertaining or funny, but rather very concerning and problematic. And those that do find him successful and an inspiration, I question you to analyze what your views on success and happiness really are. I'm going to include a recent post from Dave on his Instagram that included a letter sent to Insider on what I believe is on behalf of Portnoy. It's a lot, so pause to read. And that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell as I do upload new videos every single day. And to hopefully bleach your eyes of the gross old man acting 20 type behaviors that we've had to endure today, here's some cuteness for you. Alright, bye-bye.